happen. So, welcome everyone. We are gonna spend this hour with each other in an innovative way of coming together. I know Sundays are kind of our time, I think, in society to connect spiritually, to go to church, go to, wherever faith space, you know, spaces that you're at. And so today we just wanted to come to you to bring kind of what we're hoping to do. Well, not kind of. No, we're hoping to do this regularly once a month, where we come in this space. And the hope is that quarterly, and Barry will talk more about this, quarterly, we can even do it in person here in Chicago. So if you're not in Chicago, I think all but maybe, I don't know. If you're not in Chicago, you got to fly out, but that won't be for a while. We'll stay here in the virtual space. And so just to let you know kind of how the order of events or how we're doing this space today. I don't want to make this formal. It's not. It's really comfortable. It's casual. I want you guys to feel comfortable. Um, we're doing our intro. Then Barry's going to take the lead and give us some spiritual food for thought, some things for you to nibble on spiritually. This we really don't want you to think of this as a sermon, and I'm sure he'll talk more about that. But we do want you to feel as though you're being fed. Okay, so we'll say spiritual food. And then after that, we'll have a small, quick Q&A if you have some questions based on what was discussed. And then we get to go into yoga. And so where you see the Namaste up there in the corner, that's Anais, and she will be facilitating just a brief flow. So hopefully you have on some comfortable clothing. You do not have to turn on your camera for that. She will have her camera on so you can see her poses and you can just follow along. And that'll be for about 20 minutes. And then from there, we will move into a meditation. And I will do a guided meditation at that point. So, and that's just like 10 minutes. And then we have a couple of announcements that will be sparkled in between. So, without further ado, oh, also just some housekeeping things. If you have questions that you want to be able, so this isn't, again, this is not a sermon where you just sit and you receive and okay, that's it. We want you to be curious. We want you to have questions. We want you to say, could you clarify? What did you mean by? But my experience is those types of things. So feel free, if you have a question on your mind, you can write it down, or you can send it in the chat directly to me. Or if you want the whole group to see the question, just understand we won't answer the question if it's directed toward Barry until he finishes up his section. So questions are definitely encouraged. And we are offering this free, but of course we'll take donations. And so I'll put in a Cash App for Barry for Spiritual Shift. And we're partnering on this, but he's the one really, I didn't really do no work in this. This is him really doing a lot of this work. So if you felt fed, again, I don't want to like we're passing the whatever the bowl, but if you do feel compelled um, to send something, please do. Oh, I feel like I'm frozen. Am I frozen, Barry? I was maybe frozen for a moment.
Yes, little freezing here and there.
Okay, I apologize. He
No,
knows
it's
I'm
not your fault.
having
We know the problem,
we're
but we
having
gotta.
squirrels eating up my lines. But anyway, I will put a Cash App in the chat, and if you want to give, you can. So I'm going to be quiet now and turn off my mic. I'll stay on camera for you, Barry, but I'm going to pass the baton to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kenya, for getting us out the gate. And I want to welcome everyone here to Spiritual Shift, the Soul Experience. Um, and this is a concept that we are just really trying out, just really, testing the waters for for us, what works for the energy to really. Sundays are a good day. It's kind of like what we're used to, kind of like slowing down and getting into the spirit of um, our souls and our spirituality. Most of us grew up going to church on Sunday. I know I did. Um, so first and foremost, I want to just again thank everyone for hanging out with us. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful Sunday. We had a beautiful Saturday yesterday. Hanging out with us for a few moments on Spiritual Shift. For those that are new to the frequency, Spiritual Shift is about really helping people, no matter what their religious or spiritual affiliation, just really access and tap into their divine spark that is within themselves so that they can live, can create like a healthy model. All right, that's really what spiritual shift is about. That's really what we are promoting. You know, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy soul. Period. The last spiritual shift, we talked about the path of the historical Jesus and the path of the mystical Christ. What we're going to talk about today is sort of like an offshoot of that. It's a little different, but it's pretty much along those lines. We're going to go deep into a concept that it's really a question. And like Kenya said, this isn't a sermon really. It's really a talk. I've been wanting to do this talk for a long time. But we're going to ask the question. I'm asking the question, what Christianity and religion are really supposed to be about? What Christianity and religion are really supposed to be about? So, religion or some type of deity worship, God worship, has been around for a long time. For as far back as we can remember, um, recorded history, there's been some type of, you know, acknowledgement, organized or unorganized, that there's some higher being, there's some higher intelligence um, that is responsible for us, for the earth, right? So, but what you know, today we have multiple religions, right? We have, of course, Christianity. We got Islam. We got Judaism. We got Buddhism, Hinduism. You got the Sikh religion. We have Zoroastrianism, and there are many sects within those religions, right? So they have different versions of all of those religions. So I'm asking the question, like, um, what is this all for? Like, what are we doing? Like every Sunday, every Friday, every Saturday, like, what is this all for? Is there a reason that we are engaged in all this stuff? And that's kind of what delve into. We're gonna delve into today. I mean, there's still, even in the area of spirituality, you have modern spiritualism, you have multiple African spiritual systems, in other the world. All right. It's a lot of people trying to figure things out, trying to understand like where we come from, what are we doing. So today we're going to talk about some of that. We're going to talk about some of that. So, why do we go to church? Why do we go to mosque? Why do we go to temple? Why do we have to pray to God? Why do we meditate? Why do we have to go to Mecca? Like all of this stuff. Why do we do offerings to our ancestors, right? Like all of this stuff, like really what is this all for? And this is personal for me. Many of you all that I'm just meeting here. Um, I have a pretty extensive spiritual origin story. I'm not going to go into that. I've gone into it before in my talks, and then it's on our Spiritual Shift channel. I go into depth on how I grew up as a fundamental Christian, that journey, and then how I ended up going to seminary, and I wasn't, I ended up not starting a church, like all of that. I'm not going to go into all that story, but so this question that we're looking at today is personal for me. And it took me a long time to really figure it out for me. And then it took me another bit of time to figure out like how I was going to explain it to some other people that may have some of the same questions. So we're going to be using the Bible as well as some other religious texts that are not uh, Christian or whatever. So we're going to use them as a lens to really uncover some possible answers to these questions. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So according to the Christian story, right, there was a God who created man and woman. We call them Adam and Eve in the Bible. And when Christian gospel, he put them in this beautiful garden, right? This beautiful garden. He put them in this garden, trees and animals, and he told them like, hey, I made this for you. You can do anything you want. You can eat anything you want, but you can't eat from this one tree. You just can't eat from this one tree. You can't do it. And they were like, okay, great. This is fine. We love this. So the woman, of course, we know there was this little serpent came and tempted the woman to eat the fruit. She ate the fruit, right? Then she brought it to her, got this fruit. I was down at the market and they had some really great fruit. Here, have some. And so he ate the fruit. All right. Now they both, according to the story, had disobeyed God. God then gives out curses to everybody. He curses the woman, curses the man, curses the snake, and then he tosses everybody out the garden. All right. We know this story. This is a classic story in the Bible. All right. We learned this in Sunday school. Now, he tosses them out because they had disobeyed him. All right. Now, this scene in the book of Genesis, it really sets the stage for what the Christian story understands as original sin and the fall of humanity, right? It also sets in motion the need for someone to come and save humanity from because Adam and Eve ate the apple. God didn't like that. He was like, I told you not to eat the apple. So this sets the stage for the beginning of the prophecy that's talked about in Genesis 3:15, that a Messiah who we know as Jesus would come down through countless generations as laid out in the Old Testament. And he would be, of course, born of a virgin. Um, then he would die on the cross, the sins of the world to redeem them from, eternal damnation, from the clutches of death and destruction, all this stuff, right? So we know this story. This is the whole setup. So let's put a pin in that real quick. I wanted to just give you the background of how we're going to get into this. So we're going to switch gears so that we can do some analysis. So in Genesis 2:7, in the Bible text, the God character of the story, he created man. It says that he created man and breathed into man, and man became a living soul. This is the concept of man and woman being a living soul. Now this is the first thing that this is really when I really started to dig into this years ago. There were a lot of concepts that I wanted to get to the bottom of. The soul was one of them. So let's go and dig into. We're not going to be able to really go, but we're going to tap on it just a little bit. So in the Christian story, it's the soul that is at risk, of falling into eternal damnation. It's all about the soul. Save your soul. Don't have your soul in hell, right? And this is the thing that is in need of redemption. So like I said, I really we could talk about the soul like all by itself for a whole talk. What it does, where it comes from, you know, all of that. That could be a whole talk by itself. But I do want to offer you a few ideas about the soul, how it relates to us, because it's going to help us answer some of these questions that we started with. The question that what Christianity and religion are really supposed to be doing. Like, what are we doing? So if we dig into this, the English word soul comes from an old Germanic word called set, which itself comes from another Greek word. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because if you've ever seen Greek, it's like all these funny little symbols, right? I studied in grad school, and I wanted to pull my hair out. Promise me. I promise you, I did. So, but that Greek word is translated into English as psyche. All right, it's psyche, and that could mean like breath or spirit. Now, in my opinion, that translation doesn't enough. It doesn't really dig into what I was trying to get to give us a useful concept of what the soul is. To get to where we're trying to go, we have to go to the Latin, right? We have to go to the Latin language to get an understanding of what the soul could possibly be. So when you translate the Latin word for soul, you get two words. You get anime, which also translates spirit or breath or something like that. So S-O-L, which if you translate S-O-L into English, it translates sun, S-U-N. You could literally go to Google, and I did this. Trust me, I did this. If you type in S-O-L in Google Translate and say, translate the Latin word S-O-L to English, it will spit out the sun. So I'm like, the sun. And then now this one word in Latin, the soul, the soul in Latin is the sun. I'm like, this is getting real curious to me here. So we have to pause because this was a major clue for me to what Christianity and religion, like really what this thing is about or could possibly be about, right? So, like I said, we don't have the time to go this, but in Matthew 6:22 and Luke 11:34, both say very peculiar things, right? They talk about the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body is full of light. This is what these verses are talking about. Now these verses, like Jesus is talking here. He's talking about that there's some light inside your body, that your body can be full of light. And understand, those of you all who are kind of new, when I talked about the historical path of Jesus and the mystical Christ, I talked about the fact that there's two paths, at least two paths, when you're looking at things from like through the lens of the Bible and Christianity, the historical Jesus and then the mystical Christ, because they lead in two different directions. And the lens that I look at things through is mystical. It's how can this take me deeper into the life of the spirit. So for me, it's like, well, I have to look at it from a mystical lens. So if Jesus is talking about my body is full of light and my body could be, there's light inside my body, I'm not going to think just literal. I'm going to think mystical. Okay, well, what could that possibly be? So, in my opinion, and it's the opinion of lots of other people, that this light that Jesus is talking about is our soul. It's the light of our soul. All right. But it's not just the light of your soul. It's not like you are separate from your soul. It's you. You are the light, right? In Matthew 5:14, Jesus says that you are the light of the world. All right. Like he literally says that. So, like, I'm the light of the world. Well, what does that mean? Like, do I walk around with a candle and I'm like, hey, I'm the light of the world, or a flashlight or something? Like, what does that mean? How am I the light of the world? All right. Well, the thing is that when I'm talking to people about spirituality and their pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, um, and understanding and really mastering their spirituality, I try to give them the idea that they are a puzzler. All right. They're putting pieces together of a puzzle. And if you've ever done a jigsaw puzzle, a 500,000, 2,000 word puzzle, my dad like loved puzzles, right? My mom too, loved puzzles. When you get all of the pieces together, you know, and you have maybe half of them together, like a picture starts to emerge, whatever the picture was on the box. You start to see it like, oh my God, I think I see what this image is. And this is how it was for me. This is how it is for me. And this is kind of like what we're talking about, like what Christianity and religion are really supposed to be about. I grew up in the church. I went to seminary, and I wasn't convinced that all of this, like, I wasn't convinced that this is the real thing that we're supposed to be doing. So the Bible has a lot of pieces to the puzzle, in my opinion. It has a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but it didn't have all of the pieces. So I went looking for other pieces. So to really get into this light inside of me, and my body could be full of light, and like, what are they talking about? My soul is light? Like, what are you talking about? So I had to go to the East, into some ancient documents that are called the Vedas. Okay. Now the Vedas, and some of these pieces are in other documents, they're in other religions, they're in manuscripts, they're all over the place. If you're really trying to piece together, so the Vedas are the ancient holy scriptures of Hinduism, the Hindu religion. Um, so you are the light of the world. I had to really dig, because this concept of we being light is all throughout religions all over the world. It's not just in Christianity. So what this what the Vedas teach is, um, according to with several layers or bodies. Um, there's the physical body, there's the etheric or astral body, there's the mental body, the emotional body, and then there's the spiritual body. Okay. All of these, the soul uses all of these bodies, and the soul is our true self. All right. It is our true self. Um, it is, if you want to say like we're souls having a spiritual experience, yeah. And that's kind of what this is talking about. Um, so the soul uses these bodies to travel and move around and experience various realms or dimensions, if you will. So the physical body, the soul uses the physical body. We all have physical bodies, right? Um, and if you dream, when you're in a dream and you're like, oh man, I had this dream last night, this is what happened, woo, 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 that your astral around and having an experience, right? So this was fascinating to me. I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Now, what does this all have to do with what Christianity and religion are really supposed to be about? Glad you asked that question, right? I'm glad you asked that question. So if the soul is a little sun, sun, and I think it is, and if your true self, if our true self is our soul, and that as well, that on a fundamental level, we are all souls. Then if that's the case, our job as souls is to really do what sons do, to do what S-U-N-S. And what does a sun do? A sun shines. It shines. But in order for our souls to shine through us, we have to develop ourselves spiritually. We have to grow. All right. How I like to look at it is that we have to get rid of all of the dust and dirt and debris and mud that's actually on us, you know, preventing our souls from shining through. The dust of hurt, the dust of anger, jealousy, fear, bitterness, hopelessness, the dust of low expectations, the dust of low vibrations and low frequency, and so much more dust that is on us and keeping us from being and living the best version of ourselves. Okay. I believe what Christianity and religions are really supposed to be doing, to be at like what I think that they're supposed to be doing at their core, at their inner core, is showing us how to get rid of this dust that's on us, to just get this dust off of ourselves so that we can live our life from the soul level, that divine frequency that is constantly and always tuned in and tapped into the highest good for everyone and all things at all times. Now, does Christianity and religion in general do a good job of this? I don't know. You have to, that's a conversation for another day. And, you have to kind of make that decision for yourself. You have to make that, you have to answer that question for yourself. All right. But one of the major tasks as people on the path is to heal our past traumas, refine our emotions, our intellect, our personality, our heart and compassion, um, and many, 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 many more things, and raise the vibration of these aspects of ourselves to the point where our soul can really start peeking through and expressing itself through us, because our soul is us. It's not like our soul is not us. It's our real true self. Now, this is supposed to be the point of Christianity and religion and other spiritual teachings, in my opinion. So I have 3 things you must be doing on the spiritual path and how you can know if you're on the right track and growing. So since we are fundamentally souls or little sons, S-U-N, number 1, you must be shining. If you are growing spiritually, I didn't say you are judging other people, trying to be better than other people. You're just shining. You're just being who you are. You're just shining. When people see the sun in the sky, I know what I know I do. I know Kenya does too. We have this in common. It makes us feel so good. It makes us feel so good, right? Everybody loves the sunshine, right? That's what Roy Ayers said. Everybody loves the sunshine. Light dispels darkness. Shining bright, like all of us can, darkness is really uncomfortable around you. All right. It's not going to be comfortable around you. You don't even have to say anything. I actually have experienced this where I will come into a space or something, and I'm just, I'm not shining all the time, but this particular time I was beaming. And it was like, I didn't know what was going on, but the people just kind of turned and left and went away. And I was like, I wonder what happened there. So you're shining. That's number 1. Number 2, you provide heat. If you are growing spiritually, you provide heat, right? You provide warmth to people. Not to say anything about people that like it cold. That's cool. That's fine. But when it gets warm outside, especially after being cold for a long time, everybody wants to be outside. Everybody wants to be outside. So when you are growing spiritually, people kind of want to be around you. You know, you're like, how do I put it? You're like a cozy fireplace that people want to cuddle around. You're kind, you're gracious, you're loving, you're caring, you're compassionate. People want to kind of ask you questions. They, they perceive you as someone that has some answers, has some non-judgmental answers and perspectives to some of life's challenges. You provide heat. And the last and the third one, you provide photosynthesis. I know you're like, photo what? What? We in science class? Photosynthesis, right? So this is the process, and we remember this from science class, is when green plants and certain other organisms transform the light energy from the sun into chemical energy. In other words, this is the process that green plants, they take that light energy, and there's a transformational process that happens that's coming from the sun that is captured by the plants, and that provides oxygen. It mixes with a couple other things, and that, mixes with water, mixes with carbon dioxide and other minerals, and it creates oxygen so that we can live on the planet. If there was no photosynthesis on the planet, we wouldn't have a planet very long. So if you're growing spiritually, you on a spiritual level, you are doing this on a spiritual level. You can transform. You can transform yourself. You can transform others. You can transform situations. You can transform arguments into agreements. Okay. You can transform hurt into healing. You can transform a lot of stuff. You can transform poverty into plenty. All right. And so much more. This is why it's so important for us to be on the spiritual path, to be growing, to be thriving and expanding and living our lives from the soul level so that we can shine, light in the darkness and bring warmth to those people that are cold and freezing, and help transform the world into the paradise that we want. That's my time. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, thank you. That is it. That is it.
All right, so you guys are gonna see me here twice. This is the best way that I think I could do it. And you still, hopefully you hear me. Barry, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So I know you see me here twice, and it's because I'm trying to make sure um, I'm able to talk and hear and not have too much intrusion because my Wi-Fi, I have squirrels, y'all, squirrels eating at my
Squirrel
wires.
jumped on your
Because
wire.
I live in Animal Kingdom, and I'm happy about that because I love the animals. I love greeting them, but that means I'm also in an old neighborhood with old lines, and the lines are overhead, and the squirrels have been splicing them. There's nothing we can do. So anyway, that was wonderful. Thank you, Barry. Thank you. And this is our time where we want to be able to have Q&A. I did get one question from Aisha, just wanting to know how often we'll be a month like this in the virtual space. So
Yeah.
we're thinking the next one, Barry, you want to talk, well, I'll say this, or you want to
Go ahead.
explain how the meetings, what you
Yeah. Yeah.
foresee?
But go ahead. Go ahead and say what you were going to say. Go ahead and say what you were going to say.
Yeah, we're a three-part crew here. So it's Barry, myself, and Anais. And so we have to make sure we're all available, but we're looking at potentially doing it the very last Sunday in June. So it usually either fall the 4th or the 3rd. June has 5 Sundays, so it'd be the 5th. But I put down everybody's name. If you did not register officially for this through Eventbrite, if you can just send me your email, that would be awesome. So I can make sure you get on our list to announce when we'll be doing the next one. You're welcome, Aisha. Any questions? This is I have one question, but I want to open up if anybody wants to either unmute or they can send a question through the chat.
Right. I do want to just mention too that these sessions where the yoga and the meditation are going on are once a month, but I'm dropping videos every week, every other week that you can go to Spiritual Shift 33, Spiritual Shift 33 on our YouTube channel and tap into like updated stuff, new stuff that we're dropping. Sometimes I'm just talking and it could be a talk. Kenny and I could be doing something on astrology and religion, spirituality. I could have another person that I'm talking to. So yeah, definitely check that out.
It's actually Spiritual Shift 444. I actually put it in the
Oh,
chat. So that's the
thank
YouTube.
you.
I know we got so many. We using the numerology, y'all.
Right.
But the Cash App is Spiritual Shift 30. Yeah, the YouTube is Spiritual Shift 444. Um, so any and then I see Aisha. Thank you, Aisha. This was very helpful. I have a question for you. And then we're
Okay.
going to move, we're going to make a quick announcement about an upcoming possible retreat. But my question, I really appreciate, I love the photosynthesis. I don't think I've heard you say that. I don't think I've ever heard you talk about it like that before. So that was really, yeah, that's a new way that I have to start talking to people. Where does God fit into any of this in terms of where does God in terms of calling on God, calling on, people say him, spirit, source, whatever. Or do we, I didn't mention you really talk about God, accessing God in order to do these things. Is it necessary? What are your thoughts about that?
All right. Um, so I'm gonna do this quite a bit. So I'm gonna keep it 10,000 about this. And I just wanna be as open and upfront with people that my personal belief, like I believe personally that the creator God, the prime creator, like the God that's like above all and created everything, I personally believe that that God, that entity, that consciousness, that being is kind of beyond our comprehension. Um, but at the same time, because that God is in all and through all, we have access to that spirit, that energy, that frequency, that vibration. We have access to it all the time, everywhere. Okay. And the first place is right within ourselves. That's why I'm such a stickler for meditation and getting in touch with the platform that is us, the human being, because we are so powerful, we are so capable of accessing, like we aren't, and I'm including myself, um, aren't even accessing certain things in ourselves that are connected to the God power, the ultimate God power. Like so our life from the soul level, we're connected to God just like that. Because God actually created our soul. So once if we're living from that aspect, our soul, our higher self, it's just like you and I talking. It's just like any of us on the call talking. It's just like you can just think. You don't even have to talk. You could just think and feel, and immediately you're connected. So that's why it's so important to be connected. And in order to do that, you have to really do the practices. You have to do the all of the things that you have to do to stay connected. Because God is everywhere in all things all at the same time, but also God is really beyond our comprehension at the same time too. But there's enough layers and levels of those pieces of God that we can access all that stuff constantly, all the time. So I don't know. Is that too much?
Not to me. I
All
no, I appreciated it. Thank you. Thank
right.
you.
Could I add on something?
Yes,
Absolutely.
please, please.
Yeah, I'm just going to expound on the metaphor with us being the light. Okay, light comes in rays, individual rays, and light is the evidence of the sun. So if God was the sun and we are the light, we are the evidence of God. So that's why we come in individual rays. And also, that's why we have different personalities because as light comes from the sun, it takes on different speeds. So we would go from the sun being infinite, God, to things being finite, having a beginning and an end. So the light from the sun will have a beginning and an end, and then the sun, like I say, will be the source of that, which will be infinite. And so, like, what happens is we separate ourselves when we build a wall or we build a form, which is the ego. We identify with something within the light rather than the light itself, and that which we identify with becomes like a shadow, darkness, and we act in dark manners. But like you were saying, Barry, when we connect back to that light, there's no separation from the sunlight and the sun. So once you become the sun, once you become the light, you automatically connect. Will take away the disconnection between you and the sun, which was just a imaginary barrier. Because when we get to quantum physics, we realize that everything is made composed of light down to a quantum level. So I just wanted to add that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. That's you preaching it, brother. You preaching it, bro. So that's why it's so like we're living in such a phenomenal existence. We like the dust that I was talking about, we have to get that dust off of us so that we can really experience the the magnificence of the creation that is God. It's like it's everywhere all the time. If you've ever and I have been in the presence of highly advanced spiritual people and off of them, I'm just like, oh my God. And because I can see energy, it's just like, oh my God, this person is like, who is this dude? And what are they about? Like, and we all have the ability to be like that. That's why we have to shine. That's the shine, you know. So,
That's right. That's right.
so yeah, it
Thank
is.
you,
So,
Antonio.
thanks, Antonell. Appreciate you.
Yeah. We have one more if a person wants to do one more question or a comment. While we kind of wait on that, Barry, do you want to mention
Oh, the
a
retreat.
retreat that
Yeah.
we are,
So
yeah,
we
that
are
we are doing?
planning. We are
And this is separate. Let me just say, this is separate from the Finding Your Voice
finding your voice.
immersion. So I know Karen's kind of a part and Anais is a part of that community. That's
Right.
different. This is a spiritual retreat. So go ahead.
Yeah. But you'll have to go to find your voice. Right. Let's say that.
Yeah.
So we're planning. We're looking at doing a spiritual retreat, like a deep immersion spiritual retreat, renewal, recovery, um, retreat sometime late 2025. And we're looking at Costa Rica. We're looking at Mexico. We're looking at Ghana. We're looking at where else did we say?
Portugal.
Portugal. We're looking at
Yeah.
but if you're interested in 4 or 5 days away, and really diving deep into some spiritual stuff, renewal, reawakening,
And we said ancestral healing is
ancestral
going to be a big
healing,
part of it.
big
Yeah.
big part of ancestral healing, healing the traumas of the past through your ancestral line. It's going to be a part of the retreat. Plus, we're going to have fun too. You know, um, that's going to be. We're looking at, like I said, late 2025. So if you're interested in that, we're just seeing the interest is. Um,
It's in
and then
the
there's an
it's in
interest.
the it's in the chat, but it's findingyourvoiceafter40.com/retreats. And you'll
Retreats.
see a
Yeah.
form there. Yeah. And you can just, this is not obligating you. Those of you who've done my retreats, I don't, this is, I just am trying to get up to field an interest. And those of you who I know are a part of the women's community, we are definitely doing our Bali retreat in summer of 2025. So if you're like, oh, but the funds, I love the ship is you. So it definitely, the spiritual retreat may even be pushed to 2026, early 2026. But for right now, we're looking at potentially late 2025. So we can't give an exact date. So this is why we want, not yet, to fill out that form of interest so that we have a better idea of who is even interested before we go further. So go ahead. I'm sorry, Barry.
No, that's it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. And so like, oh, that would be a good idea. That would be something that I would be interested in. And then if you have any other places that you think would be cool to do something, that go and fill out that form and put like, and then put that location on there, because we just named the places that we think would be cool, but put somewhere that you like, well, did you think about this place? Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Very open to that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Barry. We're going to shift now and Anais, because of our time, I knew it's going to be more than an hour in here. We hope that you guys will be able to stay with us till, if you could give us at least until maybe 11:15. I'm going to make the meditation a lot shorter, just to kind of more of a prayer, guidance, chakra alignment statement. But Anais is going to come on and do our yoga. And Anais, if you can let me know if we abbreviate it, will that throw you off if we get that down to maybe close to the 20?
I'm able to abbreviate. I will ask that start with track. Sorry.
That's okay.
I was sitting here when you said that. I'm like, okay, if I take out.
And I'm going to introduce you more properly. And while she's looking, this is Anais. Anais is a certified yoga instructor. She is my yoga instructor that has been with me with all my retreats. And so Anais' yoga practice. This is this is just a dabble, okay? This is you got to see her in person, which means you got to either go to Dallas, where she's based, or you come to one of my retreats, and then that way you will get to really experience her, because she is amazing. And you see how Karen put "she's awesome" with all the exclamation marks in the chat? Yes, okay, she is. So, but this is giving us just a moment. All right, tell me what track am I starting with?
At your side, the first track should now say "Glow 88," and then
okay. All right, so let me go to that. So I'm starting with Glow, correct? That's where I'm starting?
Yeah, is that the first track on there?
Yep.
Okay. Yep, we're good.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. Hold on, let me make sure my sound is sharing. Yep. And thank you, Anita and Karen and Aisha, for staying at home. So Antonella had to go.
I had to have a brother. Okay, next time.
Oh yes, I know. And this is, I almost wanted to say this. Y'all, ladies, bring the men into this space. I know that Finding Your Voice is typically my women community, but for spiritual shifts, obviously Barry is facilitated. We want the men. We need our men to be a part of this. So, all right, let me go back and play. Okay.
That's Erykah Badu, but for now you can leave it.
Oh, hold on. You know why? I know why I did that, because it was just playing from the last track. Hold on a second. Let me go back to it.
While she's getting that together, you all can go ahead and take a comfortable seat, an easy seat. For me, This is kind of crisscross applesauce. I'm really half lotus, but wherever your comfort is, we will not be sitting in this position long for those. It's not your first, but if you need, and once we get on track, we'll kind of settle in. Just start to align yourself. Lift one glute, lift another glute, kind of getting the tailbone settled into the floor. If anyone cannot hear me, I can't read the words, but I can tell when something pops in the chat. If you couldn't hear me, I guess you wouldn't be able to say nothing. But if you're having trouble hearing me, can you say so, or just do a thumbs up if I'm good? Awesome. Let's get started. So we're in an easy. Feel free to rest your hands on your knees. If your palms are down, then you're reserving some of that energy. But you are in your own space, so I invite you to keep your palms up and let that energy circulate. Today, we are going to simply do the stretching parts of asana. Asana is the movement of yoga. And relax, listen good too, okay? So from your easy seat, we're gonna take your left ear to your left shoulder and stretch. Switch sides, right ear, right shoulder. At your own pace. And we'll start to align our breath with our movement. Inhale as you stretch. Exhale as you switch. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, back to center. If we're all good with that, I see some chat. I'm assuming Ken, I see her picture. I think Ken is managing it. Are we good, Ken?
Yes, we're good.
Good, good. All right, go ahead and bring your chin to chest. Breathe in. On the exhale, take the back of your head towards your spine, chin to the sky. Let's do one more, chin to chest. Breathe in. Exhale, take it back. We're gonna do 2 neck circles to the left and 2 neck circles to the right. So let's hit 4 points, the chest, shoulder, back, shoulder, center, and then smooth that out for 2 repetitions. When you're ready, come back to center. The diagonal neck stretch, please be gentle with yourself. You are going to take your head, let's say the top left corner of your forehead towards, I'm not good with time, towards about 1 to 2 o'clock, please. 1 to 2 o'clock. Take your fingertips and just gently rest them on your head side of your neck. After about 5 seconds, go ahead and switch. Fingertips ever so gently. And I said ladies, but Barry, you're there too. You too. Back to center. Take a deep breath in. Let it fall. One more deep breath in. Let it fall. Next inhale, arms up, reaching towards the ceiling, towards the sky. On the exhale, release your right hand to the mat and stretch to the right side, opening your side body. If you find that you're crowding, bring your arm back, push your heart forward. Reach fingertips all the way. Inhale to center. Exhale, switch to the left side. Open the left side. Body, heart forward. Inhale to center. The next exhale, we will take a seated twist. So you will release the right hand to the back, fingertips on the floor, your left hand is in the front. For a deeper stretch, you're gonna bring that left hand to the right thigh, outside of the right thigh. Turn your head in the opposite direction, gazing over your shoulder. Take a couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Fingertips on the floor. On every exhale, see if you can extend and gaze a little farther over that left shoulder. On your next inhale, on this exhale, you are going to forward fold. Hands are going to meet the floor. Sit into your hips a little bit, do a little shimmy. As you exhale, see if you can walk your fingertips forward and get a little deeper. Relax your head towards the floor. On your next inhale, walk the hands back up into easy seat. Stay nice and tall, people, nice and tall. You're gonna take that right foot, extend it out to the side. I did the wrong foot, saying right foot. On your inhale, you're gonna extend and reach that right hand towards your toes, your ankle, or your shin. The left hand comes up and over, again, opening the side body while also stretching into the hamstrings. Might have a little sensation in the calf, but we're stretching double time, triple time here. Your next inhale, come back to center. Switch feet. So the left leg is extended. Reach to your stretching point. Remember, just meet your body where it's at today. We are not all toe touchers. Chest forward to keep you open. You're gonna extend the legs forward, flex the toes so your toes are pointing towards your forehead. Inhale, arms up, forward fold. Relax the head and neck.
I found someone who loves me, infatuated with the way I make her feel.
Inhale, relax.
I see the world
Nice and centered and tall. We're going to swipe the legs into tabletop. I'm going to give side view, so I hope you all can still see everything well. In tabletop, stack your knee under your hip, your wrist under your shoulder. And for cat-cow, we release the belly towards the floor for cow, putting a deep arch in your spine, tilting the head back, chin up. And that is your inhale. On the exhale, press your palms firmly into the mat, pulling your spine towards the ceiling and tucking your chin towards your chest like a cat. In your own breathing pace, inhale, release to cow. Exhale into cat. Take 1 to 2 more of those breath cycles. And meet me back in tabletop. Here in the center. Press your hands, your palms firmly into the mat. Tuck your toes so they are touching the floor. Push the hips up into the thigh, back into downward dog. Release the neck, release the head. Draw your heels towards the floor. If they don't touch the floor, that is fine. That is not where you're at. Walk your dog, pedal the feet left and right. Take a deep breath and push those hips up while still drawing the heels down. On your next inhale, walk your feet to meet your hands in forward fold. Take an exhale, push deeper into the mat, to the floor. On your next inhale, halfway lift, you will take your palms, place them right under your knee. Stretch that spine as if you're pulling the crown of your head to the wall. Exhale back down into forward fold. Your next inhale all the way up, vertebrae by vertebrae, bone by bone, to standing. Exhale, if you need to shake the legs. Take an inhale, arms, hands together. Point your index fingers toward the sky. Take a deep breath in and arch your back and stretch as if you're making a crescent. Exhale, straight, hands to center. Plant your left foot into the floor. Raise your right foot and step back into a lunge. Your toes should be pointed forward towards the top of your mat. Hands are at the heart center. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and sink deeper into the lunge. You should have sensation perhaps in the groin, in your calves, in the quad that's reaching back, hamstring that's holding in the front. Deep breath in, fan into warrior two. Warrior two, point the back toes towards the back, left corner, right corner of your mat. Reaching both arms and fingertips in opposite directions. On your next exhale, sink a little deeper by leaning into that front knee. From here, we'll go into peaceful warrior. Your right hand goes down the back of your right thigh while spinning that left bone, your eye, your ear, peaceful warrior. On the next exhale, windmill forward. Bring your elbow to your knee with your palm facing up. Right arm stays extended towards the sky. Keep grounded in your feet. If you feel yourself crouching, breathe in and open. Push the chest and the heart forward. On your next exhale, bring your hands to the top of your mat and frame your left foot. Step the right to meet the left. Step the left foot back. We're going in reverse, so that extended side angle, that elbow, should now be the right on the right, with your left arm extended towards the sky. Next exhale, slip back into the left thigh. Right arm gazing at your right arm over your cheekbone or eye or ear. Next breath, back into warrior two. Pushing into that right knee. Exhale, hands to heart center. Point the toes, all toes, towards the front in your high lunge. Step to the front, meet the feet together. Take a deep breath in, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more deep breath in, arms up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. I thank you for your time today. It's my AC, I don't know. But I hope that movement got into your soul. I hope you were able to shine a little light to yourself and in your space. Kian and Barry, thank you for having me. And I'll let y'all know where to find me.
Yes, thank you, Anais. Thank you. We definitely want to, as Barry mentioned, thanks, Karen. It's important, this soul journey, you're in a physical body. And so we wanted to make sure when we do these soul experiences, we add an element of movement. And so we did yoga. We'll probably continue with the yoga. And thank you, Aisha. There's also somatic movement where, just gentle kind of stretches, but we always want to have an element of movement involved in these sessions because you are occupying a physical space. And when we do these in that'd be is super important so that we're really addressing the mind, body, and soul. We're going to be ending with the meditation, but Barry, do you want to give some? And the meditation is actually going to be more like a prayer. It's going to be really calm. I'm going to keep it short because I know it's already 12 minutes past the hour. But did you want to add something before?
I just wanted to thank Anais for a beautiful movement, and just to remind people that like our body was really the body. It wasn't necessary. It was a body first, and then they built some churches, some physical structures. But it was the model was the body. The model was always the body. So just like got to keep our temples pure and working at the tip top shape. So thank you, Anna. Helping us out.
Yes. Thank you back in the chat, Barry. So make sure you check out the chat. So we're gonna and I'm gonna, those of you, Aisha and Karen, I've worked with both. I don't know if I've done Oracle cards with Aisha as well, but I always like to pull a card for us to leave. And so, whatever spirit kind of tells me, I go when I have groups, and it's a singular card pull. So the card I pulled was freedom. That's where it kind of led me. And so I'll read this to you and let these words kind of guide you for the week. I no longer want this fiery ring of resentment to block the good, release me from its bonds. So this idea of freedom, carry that with you. Astrologically, today is a really special day. I want to say today is a Kazemi or some. Today is a good day astrologically because you've got some major planets all in Taurus season. Taurus has been a really pleasant astrological season. So the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter are all sitting, all marinating with each other. And those are all very beneficent or positive planet energy. Venus is love and relationship. Venus is at home when she's in Taurus because she rules Taurus. And then Jupiter is all about abundance and fortune. And it's just about to exit, getting ready to head itself out into Gemini. So that's sitting there with positive, just like we learned today, what the sun is doing. So it's really good astrological energy. So I will be doing a full moon meditation with the Patreon. So Karen, stay tuned for that if you want to do that on Thursday. And Aisha, if you're interested, just email me and I'll tell you how you can be a part of that meditation, full moon meditation and journaling. For the meditation today, Anais, the beads, are they called mala beads?
Yes, they're mala beads.
Okay. I was like, I'm gonna say mala, and that's not gonna be right. Okay. I'm bringing these up because if you find that meditation is challenging for you, my mala bead, meaning like getting still and not letting your mind just go all over, my mala beads save me. I'm not gonna, I don't want to take too much time, but these beads, basically what I do when I do my meditation, and this is just something for you to think about, is as my eyes are closed and as I'm sitting in stillness, I usually have sound going. The mala beads, you just take one bead at a time and I just twirl it and just bring it up. And then the way I know my meditation is done is when I've gone through all the way around the mala beads. And that takes me at this point about 5 to 6 minutes. If I'm really doing it with intention and a little bit slower, it takes a little bit longer. But I have just found these to be really helpful with my meditation practice. And so I just want to offer that. I know that Anais makes these beautiful mala beads. Obviously, we would love to, if you're interested in getting one, Karen probably already has one. You can, Anais, make sure you put your email or contact in the chat. But I love my mala beads and I typically use them for meditation. So I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody. All right. Because we're just going to kind of just do a prayer, and my technology, the music is all sticking because of the internet, whatever. I'm just going to have us take off our camera and we're just going to do a little bit of light breath work. And I'm going to carry you through talking a little bit about chakra alignment. So I'll try not to make this longer than about 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes or so. But our chakras, if you've heard that term and always wonder, well, what does that even really mean? Chakras are basically just different points of energy in our body that you can, Reiki, acupuncture. There's so many things that use chakra energy to help get us aligned. And so with this meditation, I'm just going to carry us through very swiftly, just paying attention to our chakra zones and how to release as well as get them in alignment, also connect just into spiritual alignment. Okay. All right. So I'm going to turn my camera off. I'm not going to have music in the background. But again, if you can just get yourself in another back, if you're not in a really comfortable position, this can be lying on your back, or this could be sitting in a chair, or this could be long sitting, whatever position you feel like you need to be in to give you just a lot of comfort, a lot of ease. All right. In my screen here, hold on, guys. I want to make sure I grab what I want to see here before we get into it. One second. All right. So first, I just want you to take a nice deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Let's do that again. It's a nice deep breath in. And when you're ready, let it out through the mouth. And one more for good measure, and then you're going to resume back to your normal breathing pattern. So take a nice deep breath in. And then and as you continue to breathe in your normal pattern, just take notice of how fast you're breathing. And just slow it down just a tad bit, just a little bit slower. Let it flow naturally. As you're paying attention to that breath, just allow yourself to feel a sense of calm and peace. You've just given your body a lot of love. You've given your mind a lot of attention. You've given your soul acknowledgement. So just embrace that. And with every exhalation, release any kind of tension that you may feel in your body. anything that you may be holding on to. And as we think about this chakra alignment, I want you to imagine that you're a tree. And the roots of this tree that you are growing from the soles of your feet, reaching deep down into the earth. And they connect to an energy that's stable and that's supportive. And that allows you to have a sense of balance and security. Bring your awareness to the top of your head, which is your crown chakra. Imagine that that top of your head is bright, white light above you. And this white light that's above you represents your higher self. That higher self that's in collaboration with the universe, with the God energy, the ancestors, and this light is entering through your crown chakra and it's feeling your whole body with love, with purity, with gifts, all the things we talked about in today's session. You are that ray. And just as we begin to just think about the alignment of our chakras, I'm just going to take a quick moment to focus on each. We started with that crown chakra. We're going to move down into the third eye chakra. That third eye, that's what we see without our physical eyes. It's that knowing, it's that intuition. So feel the intuition, feel the wisdom in the center of your forehead. Moving down to the throat chakra. Allow there to be clarity there, truth in your throat, in what you speak, and how you speak. Moving down to the heart chakra, where we experience our love, our compassion, center of our chest. Moving to our belly, our stomach area, where the solar plexus chakra sits. The power, the confidence from that solar plexus. Moving into that sacred lower abdomen, that sacral chakra. That's where our creativity, our flow of emotional energy, we recognize it, we acknowledge it. Moving down finally to our root chakra, the base of our spine, where we feel the stability, that grounding energy that we just mentioned being of a tree. And as you align each of these chakras, feel how your energy is in balance, it's in harmony. And as we end this guided meditation, I want you to consider these affirmations. If you want to, you can say them silently back to yourself after I state them, but keep them in mind. I am grounded and connected to the earth, to my body, to my soul. I am aligned with my higher self. My energies and my strength, they are harmonious. I am open to receiving divine guidance. And I am in perfect alignment with my spiritual path. Take a nice deep breath in. Yeah. Another deep breath in. This time holding it at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release it. One last deep breath before we go into your normal breathing pattern. Nice deep breath in. Hold it at the top for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You feel that sense of alignment, peace within you. Take your time bringing yourself back to awareness. Give you 1 minute. When you're ready, bring your awareness back to the present moment in this very brief meditation. Wiggle your fingers, toes. Don't need to turn on your camera, but you can open your eyes when you're ready. And when your eyes are open, I encourage you to see if you can still carry that sense of alignment with the awakening of your eyes. This is the point of the meditation, is to, I'm going to turn on my camera. Point of the meditation is to get us so that we get to that calm, so that in our active consciousness every day, we know how to return to that calm. I felt like I flew through that meditation, but it was almost a minute. Again, Aisha, if you're interested in doing more meditation and journaling along with that, as well as me doing some coaching, just let me know, email me. But I think this is about to wrap us up. Barry, do you have any final? Oh, just a reminder with the retreat, if you're interested, findingyourvoiceafter40.com/retreat. Just look at the menu, it says retreat. And you just fill out the form, it's really quick. Just your name and what place or which retreat you're interested in, and if you have a place to recommend. All right, Barry, any last things before we go?
Just that this feeling that you're feeling now, like hold that for the rest of the day, if you can, as much as possible. And this is the energy moving in, like, especially tomorrow when we go back to work.
Yes.
But try to just hold this and be in this as much as possible, because that's the journey, that's the goal. Be in this energy as we go about our day. So thank you, peace and blessings.
Thanks everyone. Thank you for your comments and your time. We'll see you next time. We'll be in touch. Bye.
Peace.